I think the observation that the pandemic has been acting as magnifying glass for basically all matters, social inequality, education, digitization, is very adequate. So yes, that also goes for the culture sector. And Apostolos is mentioning two pressure points, the budgets and the internet, and both are very valid. I think for the tight budgets, my observation is that the past years, starting latest with the financial crisis in 2008, the whole culture sector, including museums, have been under pressure, with shrinking budgets on the one hand and growing demands on the other hand. So museums have been asked to be social agents. And don't get me wrong, I like that because I think they really have the potential to make a difference with people and inspire, educate, create a space for informed discussions. But then these tasks come on top of a shrinking budget. But developing skills or having new staff to answer to those new tasks does cost money. So that is a question that we still haven't been able to solve, or also not to convey to our funding institutions. On the other hand, the internet is also a huge challenge for museums. I'm quite happy that museums did a good job just right after the start of the pandemic, increasing their digital offers to reach visitors that could not come in person anymore. And this digital wave of museums offer, it was immense and creative. But Apostolos is right that museums still have a long way to go to be equally relevant digitally as they are in their physical analog form. And I've seen a lot of museums doing experiments with virtual reality, artificial intelligence, but this concerns only a fraction of museums, while a large majority is still at the very beginning of what we call a digital transformation, and they're lacking the staff, the skills, the infrastructure, and the knowledge for it. So you need to have that, because on the internet, you're competing with everyone equally for attention, including big companies such as Facebook or Google or Amazon. And this is the benchmark that users expect. So yes, after the crisis, the pressure is even higher to accelerate this digital transformation in museums.
No, the pandemic is really the straw that broke the camel's neck. Because what we saw previously is not just problems with different business models. So like, I think that the cultural sector itself was already, since years, has thought about this question: how can we be more sustainable? How can we be more ecological? So they had that really covered, and they had plans for that already. Also with the internet, I think that the coronavirus itself was really more like an accelerator to really try out new things, and also get funding for it, because that's also the thing. If you want to digitalize your cultural venue, whatever it is, you need support for that. If you want to do it correctly, you need money for that, and you don't get that if you tell your city or council or whoever you're getting the funds from, or you're required to bring it in from ticket sales. You're not going to get that. And so it's really hard. And I hope that most venues use the corona pandemic to explore new places, and that they will use it in the future. But what we saw previously already was that you have a highly underpaid sector in general. Underpaid being the venues, being the technicians, being the artists, the creators, everybody in the background. There's basically, especially in the music sector, you have strong labels and strong, international superstars, and then you have like the broad majority of people who just don't earn a penny from streaming, who really have problems, especially in this corona crisis, because they don't have live audiences and so on. And what we saw, especially in Europe, was during that time, is that if you don't get revenue, or wonder, you have problems to survive. And those creators had the problem that they did not have any social security, that they had no possibility to get healthcare. A lot of them, they didn't have any pension fund, they didn't have any out of work insurance. So there was nothing for them, and they fall into a bottomless hole. And we need to solve that, because that is a problem that could theoretically always reoccur, be it a economic crisis, a pandemic, anything else that could happen in this or also a personal crisis, And so we need to ensure that throughout Europe we have a guarantee for everybody who is creatively active, that they can survive times of crisis. So we need a social security net for everyone, because that is the minimum to ensure that our artists survive everything, because only then art is really free.